Hello everyone, we are gonna start where all great Minecraft adventures start, and that is by creating a new world. Obviously, this is gonna be hardcore, and we're starting on day 1 by collecting a flower. Others punch trees, others punch cows, I punch flowers. And this would not be a cozy house adventure if I didn't have a compilation of me taking fall damage as I make my way down the mountain. I was already getting frustrated with the damage I was taking. Obviously, this is hardcore. And I was gonna take my frustrations out on this cow, but I didn't do a very good job. But that didn't deter me, so I got in more practice by killing the rest of the cow population I saw while exploring. Thankfully, I didn't have to explore for long because I spotted a village. I looted all their hay, all their chests, until I spotted, drumroll please, a ruined portal. Sadly, I couldn't find a chest, which might have been buried, but I couldn't look for it right now. Therefore, I just kept looting the village, but I wasn't very impressed with what they had to offer. Obviously, there's a lot to be done for the village, but at least they had sheep in a pen for me already. The village was surrounded by great views and I was ready to set my base down. And this wouldn't be Minecraft if we didn't finally punch a tree. I made my first planks, my first crafting table, my first pickaxe, and decided to get down underground for stone. Just before we get underground, I decided to use all the hay that the villagers so kindly offered me to make myself bread so that I could spend the night underground digging. I made the rest of the set of my wooden tools, so a shovel and an axe, and decided to take my stuff and go underground to spend the night. Obviously, we got the Stone Age and getting an upgrade advancements super fast. And with my first coal, I made a few torches and started digging. I soon encountered my first hostile mob and decided to avoid it completely and turn the other way, because that's how I like to deal with my problems. So we went back to the surface to greet the second day. I put down a furnace to smelt my iron and soon got our next advancements, acquire hardware, and isn't it? Iron pick. After exchanging a few words with the locals, I decided to protect my base by putting a cobblestone fence wall around it. Obviously, we're gonna need to upgrade this later, but my priority is getting diamond armor and protecting myself as well as I possibly can. My plan is to be out during the day and underground during the night. That way, we're gonna waste as little time as possible out of our 100 days sleeping. Obviously, we're gonna need to sleep some nights, but I would rather sleep as little as possible so I can make as much progress as I can. Of course, to keep myself protected, I made myself a shield. I never really use shields, but it seems pretty important considering it is hardcore. I upgraded some of my tools to iron and even made myself an iron helmet, giving us the advancement Suit Up. As it was getting dark, I was ready to go underground and get some ores. I wasn't gonna risk this world by going into big scary caves, but even strip mining is dangerous these days it seems. But thankfully I survived this attack and even got the advancement Monster Hunter. I soon was faced with a big scary cave that I just covered up, went around it, and pretended it was never there to begin with. Maybe one day we'll explore it, but today is not the day as we are not prepared. I was also not prepared to find this beautiful blue gem so soon. It ended up being just 4 diamonds, but I'm not complaining. I then started making my way back up to the surface, which took so long it actually turned into day 3 on the way. But once I made my way up, I realized there's nothing I can do without iron, so I have to go back down. My plan now was to stock up on materials and gather resources so I can get ready to build some simple farms like an iron farm and a chicken farm. Obviously, I wouldn't know how to build these on my own, but thankfully, YouTube has plenty of tutorials. I mined all throughout the day and night of day 3, and then soon went back up to the surface right before the sunrise of day 4. I started storing everything I had gathered on my extended mining trip away, smelted more iron to make myself some shears, and gave a little buzzcut to my newly acquired sheep. After acquiring some wool, I acquired some seeds and crops that the villagers had given me access to, but ultimately I decided their farms were not up to par. I kinda needed the space, so I demolished it, but fret not, I promised I would build them better ones in the future. Alongside that, I did a bunch of terraforming in preparation for the iron farm and the chicken farm later on. This project took me the entire day, and after a long day's work, I decided that it was time to sleep for the first time, which would give me a new advancement. Sweet dreams. Bright and early, starting day 5, we did a bunch more terraforming. I also started preparing a chest of all the things I would need to make the iron farm. Again, I was just following the first tutorial that came up when I searched how to make an iron farm. And this is pretty much how the day went until night came and I decided to go back underground. Going up and down these stairs is clearly taking forever, and hopefully soon I'll actually fix it. After a short but quite successful mining trip, I made my way back up and encountered a skeleton. I got the advancement, not today thank you, by using my shield, which ended up being very useful and maybe I should use it more often. I went back up to greet day 6 and decided to leave all the stuff I had gathered and go back to mine more resources underground. What I hadn't yet realized though was that I had forgotten to get extra wood with me, so when my pickaxe broke and tried to make a new one, I realized I don't have any wood, so I had to make my way up again, take some wood, and go all the way back down again, which wasted so much precious time. This mining trip was very short as it was getting daytime and I had to go back up to the surface. When I got to the surface, this zombie tried to attack me. They clearly have no boundaries. I also saw a skeleton that caught on fire and I really wanted the bones, so now with my newfound courage from my shield, I approached it, tried to hit it, but ultimately the fire was just too much for it. Feeling a little bit embarrassed from that fight, I watched the sunrise and decided that it was time to fix my staircase. Now, unfortunately, my footage got cut out here, but we still have sound. And as you can hear, I collected some lava, and that's about as much as we know. This wouldn't have been an issue should I have actually taken notes from that day, but clearly we went to sleep and we had already started building our iron farm. There's not much I can say about this process obviously because I did just copy-paste someone else's work from YouTube. I will link the tutorial I followed down below. With the iron farm almost complete, it was time to make a staircase down where the villagers would have to go before we attempted to kidnap a zombie. Now, obviously this process was very painful and these villagers were not cooperating and I only needed 3. I ended up with 5. I had to make more space for them as they wouldn't go to bed, and it was already getting night and it was time to get the zombie, and I was just struggling. After I made sure that we had all the 3 villagers we need, I set the rest of them free into the night to fend for themselves and patched everything back up as the unfortunate time had come where I would need to get a zombie. I was kind of worried about the iron golem. I even thought that I should try to kill him, but my reputation was on the line and I didn't end up killing him. I instead pushed him as the first sacrifice, noble sacrifice, of the iron farm. Zombies started approaching, and it was time to get one of them into the hole. Obviously, I would give anything for one of them to go in, except my life. Things were getting pretty hectic with a lot of zombies approaching, but we did manage to get one in the hole. I was getting attacked by baby zombies too. This was getting crazy. I ended up fighting all throughout the night, and by the beginning of day 9, I had a whole horde of zombies following me. Unfortunately, it was raining, so they weren't gonna burn. I went to check on the zombie that I had trapped. It was awfully quiet, and when I checked, I realized that he had died. Now, obviously, this put a huge damper on my plans. The video that I was following said that I had to get a zombie that was holding an item. I clearly didn't, so it was time to get armor and wait for nightfall again so that I could get a zombie that was holding an item. I passed time by terraforming all throughout the day. It was finally getting dark, it was raining, things were crazy. I know I keep saying this, but it is very scary, it's hardcore. But I found very quickly a zombie that was holding a shovel. So what I did is I killed all the rest of the zombies and made sure that this one got inside the hole. After making sure that it had safely gone inside the hole and safely gone into the boat, I had a sleepover with one of my friends to celebrate. As day 10 was beginning, I had to make sure that the zombie was safely in its place, and everything was confirmed to me by the sweet sound of dying iron golems. I had to cover everything up and make sure that the villagers wouldn't accidentally get inside, but when I got back up I saw something a little bit strange. Setting that aside, the farm was working fine, it was producing the iron. I put path blocks and a barrier around so that villagers wouldn't actually get inside. Of course, I would have to get inside, so here is me struggling to make a fence gate because I had forgotten the recipe. I always forget the recipe. Thankfully, everything was working perfectly, or at least almost perfectly, which meant now I would never have to go back to stone tools ever again. I had to show off my shiny new tools by demolishing the very village that took me in, but it's okay because I promised them it's under refurbishment, which wasn't a lie, but it would have to wait for now. As it was getting dark, it was time to get ready and go back underground for the night. I also fixed up the corridor a little bit, obviously because I was hitting my head on it a lot. As I was digging, I did find some skulk, but it didn't end up being anything, so I left it there so I could get it with Silk Touch and use it in one of my builds instead. It was now day 11. Our iron farm was working great. We did a bunch more terraforming that day until I saw a wandering trader who didn't offer me anything interesting, so I made sure he was well aware of it. After a little bit more terraforming and managing my resources at my base, I went back down to mine. Our stairs were finally working beautifully on the way up and on the way down, and we did end up finding a few more diamonds. As day 12 was beginning, we did go back to the surface, we did organize our stuff as it was getting pretty bad, and we also made our first piece of diamond armor, which was a pair of diamond boots, and look at me showing them off because I'm pretty swag. Not to be repetitive, but unfortunately we did still do a bunch of terraforming on day 12 for the entire day until nightfall. So this is me terraforming yet again. At night, we did go mining, we didn't find a lot, but we did find a few more diamonds, so that's nice. Then I just went down to get some lava as I would need it for my next project, which was gonna be getting infinite lava sources to have as fuel for the rest of the days. I wanted to build a nice smithing area for the villagers and for my infinite lava sources, so again, we did a bunch of terraforming. Since I didn't want any hostile mobs to bother me while I was working outside, I did go to sleep and woke up in day 14 to a nice rainbow. I did end up working for the rest of the day on the smithing area and going to sleep. It took me a ridiculous amount of time to get that done, but it was finally day 15 and we had our first villager jump off the stairs I just made to go get a job at our smithing area. The rest of the day I ended up doing more work around the village, and again, going to sleep because I'm a wuss. Morning of day 16, I started my day by wrestling this villager because they didn't want to go and get a job. I then gathered more wood, made my first diamond pickaxe, and gathered the obsidian and crying obsidian that was next to one of the villager houses. Since it was getting dark, it was time to go back underground. Resurfaced on day 17, where I started digging around the nether portal area so maybe I could find a chest, but I didn't. I did give up pretty quickly because I really wanted to prettify the iron farm. Day 17 was kind of a wasted day. I didn't end up doing much. I did go back underground for the night though and tried to find more diamonds. As you will see before your eyes right now, I only found redstone. I did not find anything else the entire night. All I mined was redstone. I pretty soon had to go back to the surface as it was nearing day 18.
Whoa, wait, what? Hold up! Hold up, why'd the music stop?
You might be wondering why the video stops here. And I am here to show you this very screenshot right here. My plan was to have a 4-part series, 25 days each. As you can see though, this world was not my first attempt. In the world before this, on my very first night, as I was picking cherries from trees, I got exploded by a creeper. And on the world before that one, well, I had reached day 22, but I virtually had to start over on day 20 when I realized I had no village near me. So you see, this is why it's no longer gonna be a 4-part series. It's instead gonna be a however long it takes me series because I will defeat the Ender Dragon and I will survive 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore. If you stay until the end, thank you very much. And I hope to see you next time in the next part where hopefully I'm not gonna have to start over.